Shalom, Akim, Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakahakudah, showing us in double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akim, out there pushing the word sincerity and truth. This is the brother Ariella. And what I want to address is, I don't know what I'm going to call this yet, but it's going to center around, so you think you're in Great Millstone. Or maybe you are not in Great Millstone unless. And one of the things that I pulled up here is this picture here of the Mandalorian. And the Mandalorian is a group of people that basically have their own planet, their own kind of culture and way of being within the Star Wars universe. But they're known for the kind of the way that they live by, and there's a code that they all live and move within, and anyone who breaks that code is not considered to be in the way of a Mandalorian and is ousted or even put to death. And in like manner, here at Great Millstone, this is the school of the prophets. And when we talk about the doctrine, when we want to talk about what we teach, there is a way, there is a culture, there is an intention on how we communicate with one another, on how we deal with one another, on how, things move. There is a way. And if you are not in that way or in that spirit, then you're not in Great Millstone. Just because you may agree with some of the breakdowns, you may agree with all of the breakdowns, doesn't mean you are in Great Millstone. It just means you agree. Okay? But there is a way to move. There is a way that we walk amongst each other. There is a way that we come underneath the umbrella. Because a lot of you guys want to be Great Millstone, but don't want the responsibility of being in Great Millstone. And you people are dangerous. Okay? There's a lot of guys out there that are calling themselves GMS, and they are not GMS. They're just these rogue agents. They're the rogue individuals that no one really is in communication with. There's no line of authority. There's no accountability, and they don't want to be held accountable. But they want the name and title of Great Millstone because of some of the breakdowns that they agree with. No, you are not in Great Millstone. You need to take GMS off of your name, or you will be called out. Okay, and one particular person is this GMS Lion of Judah, Baltimore. You're not in Great Millstone. Okay? And, there's been situations, other situations where people, want to be in Great Millstone, but because they have not gone through the proper parameters of, so to speak, crossing over into the group, no, you're not Great Millstone. Okay? So I want to just talk about that a little bit. In the book of Amos, the 3rd chapter and the 3rd verse, we quote this all the time. It says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" And when we talk about that agreement, we're talking about the spirit of things. We're talking about the way. Who do you report to? What camp are you underneath? Okay, what camp does that camp report to? There is a line of order, so we can make sure everything stays in line. As things grow, more organization is required. You can't just jump up and pop up and say, okay, we over here, we're Great Millstone. No. If an order hasn't come down from the up top to say that you're a part of Great Millstone, then you're not part of Great Millstone. It doesn't matter how much you agree. Okay? Because you have these guys that don't want to be held accountable with anything. And what happens with that lack of accountability is wayward doctrine starts to come in. And we've seen it over and over again. And this is where confusion to the congregation happens. And so the sheep start to be confused because you have these people calling themselves Great Millstone, teaching opposing doctrines or teaching an opposing way about things. And it confuses the sheep. And it definitely can put blood on people's hands. 2 John chapter 1, verse 7 says, "For many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist, opposing doctrine. This is an example here of an opposing doctrine, right? It says, look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Hamashiach have not the Most High. He that abideth in the doctrine of Hamashiach, he hath both Father and the Son. If there come any of you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. So, because if you are bidding a person Godspeed that has an opposing doctrine, you're basically saying, hey, you're good in my eyes. You're good to go. So you're partaker of his evil. Okay? You're encouraging a person to continue in something that you know is false and erroneous. So that's why all these friendship, unity camp, bidding each other Godspeed, when doctrines are opposing, you're partaking in evil. Because if a person doesn't teach that the mark of the beast is the RFID technology, and they're teaching that it's Christianity, and you bidding that person Godspeed, you're a partaker of his evil. If a person is teaching that the Israelites are only so-called Negroes, and you bid them Godspeed, you're partaking in evil. If a person is teaching that, hey, we're Israelites, but we're also Egyptians, and we need to come underneath the Keeper Neges or whatever other books, and you bid that person Godspeed, you're partaking in evil. And then there's also other just manners of conduct and coordination and order, that if a person is not willing to come up underneath the umbrella, but you're bidding them Godspeed, you're partaking in evil, because you're putting out there a spirit of disorder and confusion. So we have to be mindful of these things. There is a way, right? 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 13, it says, till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. Meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. So the doctrine is a system of breakdowns and teachings, but those systems of breakdowns and teachings lead to a way of being. In Great Millstone, there is a coordinated way of being, communication, conduct, on how the Spirit has led our leadership and all the brothers that are down underneath it, all right, to coming into a relationship with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and executing the game plan of the ministry. If just because you might believe that some of the breakdowns don't mean you understand what's going on. In order to understand what's going on, you have to be connected. And see, what happens is communication does two things. It creates trust and it creates transparency. And when you say that you're a part of a group, but you do not communicate with a group, there is no trust or transparency in order to walk together. So if you're not underneath one of the camps, which any new person would be, and you will be assigned a camp that you will report to consistently, yes, somebody will be over you. Get over it. Grow up. A lot of you guys don't want to be held accountable to anything. That's why you don't want to be a part of an organization or a group. I'm going to tell you what, there's no person that's done anything successful in life solely by themselves. It takes teams. Big success takes bigger teams. And miss me with this one isolated incident of somebody doing something by themselves. Grow up. A lot of BS going on, man. A lot of fanboyism. Immaturity. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So we get this word presbytery. Read the scripture. It says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. Okay, so get this word Presbyterian, with Strong's G4244. It says body of elders, Senate, council, the elders of any body, assembly of Christians, of the Jewish elders. So there's a presbytery, a group of people, an order, like it says down here, the order of the elders. If you have not had the hands laid upon you by the order of the elders, meaning you don't even have the approval or or the blessing from them to move forward with the gift that's in you within this body. There's a lot of guys that want to avoid this out of weakness and fear. When you go to the etymology, presbytery, bench or seats within the altar rails and reserved for the priests. Okay, an elder, body of elders. Okay, it says skip down. I don't need to go to a Presbyterian church. No, that's the point, right? So the point of what I'm trying to make is has the presbytery laid hands upon you to give a blessing upon the moves that you're making. And there's a lot of people that are claiming themselves to be great millstone, and you haven't done that. You haven't gone through that process. You're not linked in. You're not one of us. You're not of the way. Right? Hebrews the 13th chapter, verse 15 says, By him therefore let us offer the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually, that is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not. For with such sacrifices the Most High is well pleased. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. And a lot of people you're not under the obedience of the order of things, the order of the presbytery. Okay, so you're not in this way, and you do not communicate well. You don't even communicate at all. Why? Because you're not connected. So you're not great millstone. You have to grow up. You have to grow up. It's bigger than you. For those of you that are on the other side and watching these videos and you're going out to the camps and you want to go and preach and do your own thing, you might go and preach and do your own thing. Cool. But you are not great millstone. You just agree with the doctrine. But you're not of the way. Because you have not crossed over into the communication. There's levels. And there's a level of submission. There's a level of coming into this thing and sacrificing within this thing to be of that way. There's a level of responsibility to know that, hey, now my actions are tied to this group. I am a minister. I'm a servant of something. See, a lot of people, they want the benefit of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but they do not want to sacrifice. Because now when you say that you're part of a group, you know that your actions affect the whole group. So you're mindful. A lot of people don't want to be mindful. They just want to do their own thing. Well, then you're not of the way. You're not in great millstone. Grow up. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable unto you. There's a lot of people that want to cross into this thing, but because they have a narcissistic, low self-esteem, selfish, childish, spoiled, childlike mentality, they make watching over your soul grievous. It's not with joy. And that doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. That doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. That doesn't mean, some things won't be corrected sometimes. But even when brothers make mistakes, it's still with joy. You still want to just help. You still just want things to be better. It shouldn't be like, oh man, a continuous dripping of ridiculousness from a person because they have not come into the way and they have not subjected themselves to order. Okay? And that's what's happening with a lot of people that were on the other side. They got impatient. They got impatient. And because they got impatient, they wanted to do their own thing, but they still wanted to be called Great Millstone to show that they believe in the doctrine. But you're not in the way, so you're not Great Millstone. You got to grow up. Okay? Sirach chapter 6, verse 7 says, If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. Why? Because friends share secrets. And if that friendship is not proven, what happens when people learn your secrets? They become these scoffer guys that go onto other channels and become niggards. And what do they want to do? They don't want to talk about all the strengths that you bring to the table. They're gonna go and disclose your weaknesses. They're gonna go and say, "Well, he did this happened. They had this situation where this went down." That person was never a true friend. So as the process of proving a friend goes by, because a person doesn't want to be held accountable, they want to do their own thing, but they believe in some of the doctrines and breakdowns. They go and call themselves a part of your group for a time, and then whatever tribulation happens, they break off, and then they what? They begin to disclose secrets. Agent-like activity. We call it being a hoe ass nigga down south. That's what we call it. Okay? Sirach 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. There is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. And we've seen this over and over and over again. Okay? We've seen this. That's why Apostle Tar made a mandate, no new members in Great Millstone. The process of crossing over in Great Millstone, the vetting process is way more strict. Way more strict. We've had brothers that's been on the other side for years. For years. And there's very, very particular things that now even us as so-called elders, Elder Yashwamba, some of the other elders in the state camps, when they're considering crossing a person over, it's like, man, you really sitting down and saying, okay, do I even want to bother the apostle with mentioning this person's name? Okay, let's see their mindset. Let's go over it. Let's see their track record. And if there's anything missing, you're just gonna be on the other side. We may love you to death, but you're gonna be on the other side. Okay? Okay? That's just the mindset. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if this word will pop up. Colloquial sense of something. Vetting, right? To careful examination. Okay? Careful examination is happening to brothers. As the doors close on this thing, more and more careful examination is happening to people who become friends of the prophets, who become a part of this thing. So you say you're part of Great Millstone, really? Are you? Or did you just put the name on your YouTube video? Heads of camps should be in communication, should know who they report to, should be willing to report consistently. Okay? Like we always say, it's not 143,999 and then you're special behind. No. Grow up. So if you have not reported in, if you're not, or if you're not reporting, if you're not underneath, if you don't understand what region you're in, who you're supposed to be communicating with, then you are not Great Millstone. You're just a person that agreed with Great Millstone doctrine a little bit, but you're not part of the way. You don't understand the way. You're not in communication. So trust and transparency has not been aligned with you. We don't trust you. And you're not transparent enough to develop any type of true relationship. And if you don't want to establish a true relationship, you are not a part of Great Millstone. We do not walk together. So if you say you're a part of Great Millstone, then you will get in alignment, and there might be things that need to be done that you don't like. You might not agree with it at that time, but somebody might see something more than what you see. Grow up. You'll be all right. Discipline over feelings, responsibility and duty over emotion. There's something happening bigger than us. We have to get in where we fit in. We don't make the way. Okay? So, comments down below, precepts down below. This is something that we see. We've been talking about with the other campaigns. We see these random Great Millstone channels, people that have been kicked out or been suspended or they was on the other side and then they decided, no. If it hasn't come down from up top, you are not in Great Millstone. Okay? Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutation to y'all came out there pushing the word sincerely and true. Shalom.